Thanks for staying with us. On to some cricket news, where what a win it's been today at our very own Chepauk Stadium this evening for the men in blue against the Kiwis. A stellar performance for both Yuvraj Singh and Parthiv Patel that helped India defeat New Zealand convincingly by 8 wickets in the 5th and final one-day here in Chennai. Here's an exclusive chat with the little master of India, Sunil Gavaskar, on his thoughts on the performance today, the prospective Ashes winner and much more. After dominating Australia and the Kiwis, is this now a sign that perhaps the young players of our team have come of age? Do you believe that?
Well, I think it's a little bit early to say that because we've got to take into account the quality of the opposition that they played. And New Zealand, we all will agree that it wasn't exactly the most testing of opposition. So I think the jury will still be out as far as the readiness, the preparedness of the young team. But whatever opportunities that they've got, they've grabbed it. And that's always a good sign for the future, which will mean that with a little more experience, they'll be certainly ready to take over the mantle when the seniors decide that they've had enough.
Right. Since you're speaking of the future, heading into the World Cup, does it really speak volumes about India's bench strength at this point of time? Do you think it does it augur well for the future at least? Very
well indeed. Particularly to see the way some of the youngsters have kept their cool in a tight situation. The Bangalore game is a prime example where Yusuf Pathan, who's been in and out of the Indian team, didn't go slam bang, but played a very matured, calculated innings to get to a century. The way Saurav Tiwari, who struggled to really make the connection with the ball at the beginning of his innings, but he didn't chuck it away. He hung around there, tried to rotate the strike, tried to give Yusuf Pathan more of the strike. So temperamentally, this young team has certainly shown, has been very impressive. And I think that again, in my view, augurs very well for the future.
What about the areas of concern? Perhaps, for instance, Bhaji's worrying form with the ball, or perhaps even Yuvraj's time to be recalled to the test team as well. Is that something that needs to be considered now?
Well, I think we are a little too hard on Harbhajan Singh because we expect him to get 5 wickets in every innings, and if he doesn't get, then we start questioning his place in the team. A man who's got over 370 test wickets, I think he's allowed to go through the odd lean period, and I think that's probably what's happening to him. But with this rest, I think he'll be refreshed and fit for the South African game. And Yuvraj also, I think we are a little bit hard on Yuvraj, but he's one of our key players. The way he's been bowling, that's an additional option. It gives the team a little more flexibility. So if you have guys like Yuvraj and Yusuf Pathan coming and bowling their few overs, that certainly gives the captain a lot of flexibility in case some of the other regular bowlers are being hammered. So I'd imagine that the selection committee will certainly have a look at the additional string to the bows of Yuvraj and Yusuf Pathan.
Right, just before we leave you and we let you go, I'm going to be putting you on the spot for a moment there. What do you make of the Aussies urging Shane Warne to come out of retirement? Is that a sign of desperation? And who do you think will win the Ashes?
Well, I think asking for Shane Warne to come back to Test cricket really is a romantic idea, if I might say so, because it's been what, 2 or 3 years now since he's quit the game, and bowling 4 overs in a T20 game is one thing, and trying to bowl in the heat of Australia 40 overs in a Test match. That is going to take some doing. I say 40 overs simply because this England batting lineup is a very good batting lineup, and I don't think they'll crack as easily as they did 4 years ago when Australia won that series 5-0. I would not rate the Australians off at all because they are a very good side. But at the moment, their bowling seems to be their weak link. And England 517 for 1 in the second innings of the first Test, and 500 plus again in the second Test have capitalized on the weakness that the Australians have shown.
Well, drifting from sports to when Bollywood, or maybe Collywood in fact, meets politics, will Vijay be the next actor to jump into politics ahead of the assembly elections? With rumours of problems over screens for Kavalan, his forthcoming film, will the Ilaya Thalapathy turn to Amma in this act? Peer Muhammad tells us about the chances.
Is Vijay taking the road to politics? Especially after a string of recent box office failures. and boasting a large fan base second only to Rajinikanth. Is entering politics the best way out for the beleaguered star in an industry controlled by the DMK affiliates? After all, 2 months ago, Jayalalitha referred to this issue indirectly.
அரசியலில் நுழைவது குறித்து பரிசீலிக்க போகிறேன் என்று கூறிய மற்றொரு பிரபல நடிகர் கருணாநிதியின் குடும்ப திரைப்படங்களுக்கு நடித்து கொடுக்குமாறு கட்டாயப்படுத்தப்பட்டார். அவர் நடித்த ஒவ்வொரு படமும் தோல்வி என்பதை கருணாநிதி குடும்பம் உறுதி செய்தது. ஹீரோக்களை ஜீரோ ஆக்குவதும் தன் குடும்பத்தில் உள்ள ஜீரோக்களை ஹீரோ ஆக்குவதும் தான் கருணாநிதி குடும்பத்தினரின் வேலையாக இருக்கிறது.
Vijay's father, producer S.A. Chandrasekhar, has been close to DMK chief. DMDK leader Vijaykanth is another close friend. Yet if Vijay is moving towards AIADMK, sources say it may have to do with his fight for screens for his upcoming movies.
விஜய் என்கின்ற நடிகர் மட்டுமல்ல, ஒவ்வொரு நடிகரும் இனி அடுத்தடுத்த மாதங்களில் கருணாநிதிக்கு எதிரான போக்கை அரசியலில் கொண்டாக வேண்டிய கட்டாயம் கண்டிப்பாக ஏற்படும். ஏனென்றால் தொழிலில் அவர்கள் நிலைக்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு முழுவதுமாக திரைத்துறை படம் எடுப்பது, விநியோகிப்பது, பிறகு படத்தை ஓட்டுவது என்று எல்லாமே இவர்களுடைய தயவில்லாமல் யாரும் இருக்க முடியாது என்கின்ற நிலைமை உருவாக்கப்பட்டு விட்ட காரணத்தினால் இப்பொழுது அதில் தாக்கு பிடிக்க முடியாமல் நசுக்கப்படுகின்ற ஒவ்வொரு நடிகரும் புதிய அரசியல் கட்சி கண்டாக வேண்டிய நிலைக்கோ அல்லது ஏதாவது ஒரு அரசியல் கட்சியில் சார்ந்திருக்க வேண்டிய நிலைக்கோ அவர்கள் உள்ளாவது ஒன்றும் அதிசயமானது அல்ல.
Vijay may be forced to take a political recourse, according to sources close to him. If his name swings votes in the 2011 polls, that will be another addition to the star-studded political scene of the state. In Chennai, with Peer Mohammed, J. Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
Well, staying with the political scenario, what impact will the CBI raids on tainted former telecom minister Raja have on DMK Congress ties ahead of the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections? And which side will other potential allies swing? In an exclusive interview to our executive editor Sanjay Pinto in our new show Corridors of Power, former Union Health Minister and PMK leader Dr. Anbumani Ramados says he has a soft corner for the Congress. What's more, Ramados Jr. also says his party is not averse to being in Vijaykanth's company in event of such a formation taking shape.
When you decided to snap ties with the DMK, were you the sole voice, the lone voice in the party advising them against snapping ties with the alliance?
I mean, that's all do. It's a collective decision. I mean, it's not.
I know you had also a democratic voting system. I remember covering that.
It was to do with the Congress, basically. Because Congress, we were part of the government for 5 years, and we had a very good understanding with the Congress. And in fact, Madam Sonia ji, she was very, very affectionate to all of us and all the other leaders. Especially Prime Minister was like,
father figure,
fatherly, and whatever from Health Ministry we asked him, he gives it. Like so, and he knows how hardworking we were. Like.
So which means your heart lies with the Congress. Any alliance with the Congress?
I mean, politics, a lot of water flows under the bridge time and again, and the situation.
Few months we'll have elections, you'll have to decide one way or the other. There was a time really when, I know at least the PMK used to say, whichever side the PMK aligns with, that side will win. But now
even today it is.
No, but now which side are you going to go to? Because
today I'm saying the same thing, whichever side PMK is going to go.
But both the big Dravidian parties, the ADMK or the DMK, they're not really inviting you because now the PMK's critics say it's like a fence sitter.
No. I mean, on the contrary, now we are much sought of today, both by the ruling party and the opposition party and the national parties. Everybody wants PMK, and it's like alliance arithmetic, and so that is something which
your vote share, particularly in northern Tamil Nadu, would benefit any alliance. One cannot deny that. But personally, which side are you in favor of joining with? I know a few months ahead.
It's not just a question of vote share in northern Tamil Nadu. Our party is based now throughout Tamil Nadu, and it's just a comparison between Mr. Vijaykanth's party. He says that he's got an 8.5% vote. When 8.5% vote went to 234 constituencies. Whereas we stood in only 31 constituencies, and when he got 5.5% votes. If we stand in about 234 all the constituencies, I'm sure we'd get about 13-14% votes. So that's not the point.
Would you be along with an alliance along with Vijaykanth?
I mean, in politics, anything can happen. So
Okay, not averse to a tie-up.
Absolutely, there's no.
Because I know the PMK has been anti the film world. I mean, you all have campaigned against
Yes, I
the
mean,
influence of film stars and.
See, unfortunately, in Tamil Nadu, the political scene scenario, last 43 years, only personalities from the movie industry have become chief ministers.
Why is that?
And nowhere else in India you see that. And that's the attitude of the Tamil people here. You know, I mean, they are they're so taken by the movies, the dialogues, the fights, and today a youngster acts in 2 movies, and then the third he says that I'm the next chief minister. I mean, you have to work, you have to have policies, you have to have priorities.
Who are you referring to?
I mean, I'm just a general talk, like, I mean, anybody.
Unlike many other politicians, one thing that the media likes about Anbumani Ramdas is that he's frank. You can ask him any question that you want and he's frank, he speaks his mind, which is why I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
There was a time when many believed that there was a difference of opinion within the party, that Dr. Anbumani Ramdas wanted to remain with the DMK, but the other leaders wanted to snap ties. Is that true? I mean,
see,
no one has ever asked you this openly
I
before.
again say that it was a collective decision. See, we have our views.
But personally, you were
individual views. We have our views.
Your personal view was to remain with Dr. Kalaniar, for whom
no, see,
there's a lot of unbu, as you said.
That's why I said like that it was issue of not DMK. It was issue of Congress.
Okay.
Since I was there for 5 years with the Congress government, I had shared a good relationship with them. It was the issue of Congress, and then it was the issue of Congress coming back to power, and that is what. And these were discussions, and then finally. And we had a democratic voting in a party, where out of 2,400 executive members, 2,200 voted to go with ADMK. So that's not a question
Regrets now?
It's not a question of individual. No, absolutely not.
No. You're still keeping that option also open?
Absolutely. Anyway, I mean, that's why I said like, it will go in a winning side, whichever side wins. It's the other way. Wherever PMK goes, it wins like. So you can, either way you can say like. So,
but you have a soft corner for the Congress alliance.
Yes, there is a soft corner because those leaders have been.
Okay. Have been good to you.
I was a nobody, and then Prime Minister and Madam Sonia Gandhi. I mean, they all took me up, and then they nurtured me 5 years and prominence, and they gave me the freedom to do a lot for the country.
And make sure you catch that full interview on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. on Corridors of Power. Well, with that, that's the news tonight. Good night.